Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to all of you. Myself Sanat Kumar Swai, Assistant Professor at Vedang Institute of Technology, Bhubaneswar, and in today's class we'll be discussing about types of culture in the organizational behavior. Okay, so in the previous classes also we have discussed about culture. So today we'll be discussing about types of culture. Okay, in an organizational setting. Okay, right. So before going deep into the other slides, we'll see uh, organizational culture. What exactly is organizational culture? What comes into your mind when you talk about organizational culture? What exactly comes into your mind? What is a culture? What tell me if what do you understand about a culture? Shared values. We have certain values of our own. We have certain beliefs of our own. Yes or no? Everybody. We have certain religious practices. We have certain social practices. We have certain personal practices. So these all constitute to be our culture. And India is a myriad of varied uh, culture, a melting pot of culture. You see a lot of cultures um, which flourish in the Indian subcontinent. This is the on a social perspective. Now, if you're looking at a organizational perspective, then there's a organizational culture. What is that culture? So even in organizations also you will see that they also have a shared value. The people, the organizational, in the employees of that staffs of that organization, they also have a shared values. They also have a shared beliefs pattern. They also have their practices, and this all constitute at how the employees they interact and they work together. That shapes the employee, how they're going to interact and how they're going to work together. Okay. Now, why is it important? Why we need to understand that organizational culture? Is it that important, do you think? Of course it is important. Why is it important? Because organizational culture, it impacts productivity. Sorry. It impacts productivity of any organization, right? Next, employee satisfaction. Because if there is a culture and you align with that culture, you fix with that culture, you accept to that organizational culture, then there's a sense of satisfaction among the employee. And of course, there's a brand reputation at the end. So these all constitute the importance of organizational culture. Yes. So if you're looking at the Indian perspective, okay, what happens is that in the Indian context, you will see that it is influenced by values like respect for hierarchy. You won't find this in the MNCs, but particularly in the Indian organizations, you will see that there's a respect for hierarchy. There's a family bonding and there's a teamwork. These all things you can find these kinds of values in the Indian context. Organizations which are working in the, which are functioning in the Indian context, right? Next. So this is type 1 culture. Type 1 is clan culture. Clan. Family is a clan, right? So in the clan culture, you will see that the environment, like what are the characteristics of this? Like family-like environment. In a family, we live as a clan. We work in a teamwork, and we have certain collaboration. So these all forms a characteristic of clan culture. Okay. Now, what is the focus of this clan culture? Focus of this clan culture is that the employees' involvement and cohesion. There is a sense of involvement of the employees and there is a cohesion, we feeling. Okay. Working together. Working together. Right. Now, if you take some example, you'll see that, for example, Tata Group, okay, it emphasizes in the values like trust and they care for the employees. Sometimes you'll see that working in a Tata company or the Tata Group, it is a part of a family. It's not like a company, it's like a family. You'll see most of the people who are working for Tata Group, they often say that we don't feel that we are working in the private company, rather we feel that we are working for our company, for in our family. So that is the value. I mean, that is the importance which Tata Groups gives, or values, value of trust, and they care for the employee. Now, what are the benefits? Benefits are like high employee loyalty. You'll find that loyalty is one of the most important thing in the clan culture. Next is retention and job satisfaction. What do you mean by retention? See, these days people they tend to shift from one company to other for the sake of development. They want to gain more, so what they do normally is that they shift from one company to other and they get a hike. Okay, particularly for hike. Okay. Sorry. But in case of clan culture, you will see that retention is more. Employee retention is more. And there's also job satisfaction. Okay. Type 2, adhocracy culture. In case of adhocracy culture, what happens is that the working style is innovative. Okay. They focus on innovation. There's a flexibility in working, risk taking, and creativity. More new ideas are being given more importance in this kind of adhocracy culture. So what happens that there is a eminent growth. Innovation is being focused upon. Okay. So if you take some example like Infosys is one of the most important organization which focuses on the adhocracy culture because it gives a lot of importance on innovation. Okay. And sometimes they also foster, it's very important that they also foster the entrepreneurial thinking. Entrepreneurial thinking means you be a part of the company or you become an entrepreneur, which is one of the most important thing and very good thing, I must say. Okay, so what happens? What are the benefits? Benefits is that fast adaptability to changes. There is a fast adaptability to change and it promotes innovation. Okay, it promotes innovation for better production, better productivity of that organization. Right. So this is all about the adhocracy culture. Next is market culture. What do you mean by market culture? Market culture. Market culture means it all relates to the market. And who are the market? Market are the customers. So basically, this market culture means it is customer culture, customer oriented. You focus more on customer. Right. So these kinds of market culture, these are generally very competitive. They're based on competition. They're based on result oriented. Okay. What kind of result? They want result. Okay. Now what is the focus? Focus is like achieving measurable growth and gaining market share. Their more focus is how to gain more market share in this market culture. Definitely market culture. So if you take an example of Reliance industry, okay, so what characters they follow? They focus on market, they focus on results, they focus on various kinds of strategies so as to be driven by the customer oriented and market share. They try to gain as much market share as possible. Okay, so and what is the benefit? Benefit is that it's clear goal. They have a very clear goal. It focuses on the result and its competitiveness, to be competitive in the market. So this is all about the market culture. Next, hierarchy culture. Hierarchy culture means, see, hierarchy culture mostly you will see in the Indian organizations, and you may not see the hierarchy culture in the multinational organization, but in the Indian scenario, definitely you're going to see hierarchy culture. Okay, so what are the characteristics? Characteristics are like it is a structured procedure. Okay, and various kinds of procedures are being followed, and it is very stable. Okay, this culture is very stable. Okay. And it has been focused on efficiency, consistency, and risk management. You'll see the organizations which follow the hierarchy culture, they are more efficient. They focus on efficiency. There's a consistency in that entire organization, and also they mitigate the risk. Okay. For example, State Bank of India, okay, SBI, everybody we know. So you see that there is a hierarchical structure in this kind of bank. There are certain structured procedures which are being followed in this kind of organization. And what is the benefit of it? Benefit means you will see that there is an operational efficiency, and also it is predictability and minimized risk. So you will see that the risk management is being mitigated in a more better way in these kinds of hierarchy culture. Sometimes I'm not saying that this is the best culture which is being followed, but sometimes this is good and sometimes it is also bad for the organizations, right? There's no, you see, in these kinds of organization, in these kinds of culture, there's no innovations. They lack innovation. They lack competitiveness. Okay, so sometimes it may not be good for the um, in the long run, but still they have their own benefits. Okay, right. Now, strong versus weak culture. Okay, see, there will be a separate class on this strong versus weak culture. So there are different cultures which we are going to study more. Okay, but it's just a gist of the strong versus weak culture. So what is exactly a strong culture and what exactly is a weak culture? Organizational culture, not just culture, organizational culture. Anybody? See, strong culture means, for example, consistency. Okay, consistency in the performance or consistency in our behavior in our organization. Or sometimes we can say that accepted values, the values which are being accepted worldwide. And we have a commitment, deeper commitment. So these all constitute the strong culture. An example is Infosys. Infosys has a very strong culture. The employee engagement, the employee involvement in the organization is marvelous. Now, what is a weak culture? On the contrary, so weak culture is like, you'll see that they have a diverse value. There's less cohesion among the employees. There's no we feeling among the employees. And where you're going to find these kinds of weak culture, you'll see newly merged companies. So what happens that when there's a parent company, in company you will see that a strong culture has been followed. But when there's a merged company, so what happens when two companies come merge together? So there you will see that the culture has been weakened because two cultures have been merged together. There's not a single culture, but there is two cultures, because every company has got their own culture, organizational culture. So when the two organizational culture merge together, they exhibit weak cultures initially. Initially, I'm not saying on a long run, but initially, okay, maybe they can improve it. Okay, right. So with this, we have come to the end. Concluding, we'll see that each culture types, okay, influences organizational behavior differently and is chosen based on strategic goals. So what does that mean? That means that every culture, they influence or they impact the organizational behavior in a different way. Okay, and it is also chosen based on the goals, what kind of goals the organization pursues. Okay, and if you're looking at the Indian context, we'll see that these Indian companies, okay, what happens that sometimes they have a mixture of the traditional values which has been incorporated as a part of our culture with the modern practices. Okay, so there's a diversification of our organizational cultures in these Indian companies or organizations, right? And why is it important to understand this culture? Because it helps in aligning the strategics and enhancing organizational effectiveness. So if you want organizational effectiveness, or if you want to align with various kinds of strategies, then we have to understand this culture, because that is going to help the organization in the long run. And that is also going to increase the productivity level of the company. Okay, okay. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you have all understood the different kinds of culture, organizational culture. If you still have any doubt, please jot down your doubts, and I will be more than happy to clear off your doubts. Yeah, thank you very much.